Have you ever wondered why solitude is so vital in our spiritual journey? In the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, solitude often takes a back seat. Yet it's in these quiet moments that we can truly connect with our spirituality. Solitude isn't loneliness, but rather a sacred space where we can deepen our relationship with God. It's a powerful tool that allows us to reflect, contemplate, and grow. Now let me share a story of a man whose life transformed through his solitude with God. John, a busy corporate executive, he went to church on Sundays but found himself yearning for a deeper connection with God. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the corporate world, John was a man who had it all. The corner office with a panoramic view of the city, a ring of influence that echoed through the corridors of power, and a life that many would envy. Yet even as he navigated through the complex world of board meetings and business strategies, there was a gnawing emptiness that he couldn't shake off. It was as if a piece of the puzzle was missing, a void that his achievements couldn't fill. From the outside, it seemed like he had everything, but on the inside, John felt like he had nothing. His days were filled with spreadsheets, conference calls, and high-stake deals, but his mind often drifted to a place of quiet reflection, a place of solitude. His heart yearned for a depth of connection that he felt was missing, a relationship that went beyond the superficial, a relationship with God. Every night, he would lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the divine connection he craved. He wanted to go from just a saved man to a serving man. He questioned if it was possible to find such connection amidst the chaos of his life. The emails, the meetings, the constant rush, it all seemed to build a wall that was hard to penetrate. But John was not a man to back down from a challenge. He had climbed the corporate ladder with determination and grit, and now he was ready to apply that same tenacity to his spiritual quest. He knew that to find what he was looking for, he needed to slow down, to turn down the volume of the world so he could hear the whisper of God. John's heart ached for solitude, a solitude that was not about being alone, but about being alone with God. A solitude where he could strip away the noise and distractions and focus on the voice that mattered the most. John decided to take a step back from his busy life to seek solitude with God. And with that decision, John embarked on a journey that would transform his life in ways he could never have imagined. John began his journey by setting aside time each day to be alone with God. It was not an easy task. The world around him was a whirlwind of distractions. His job, his family, his friends, all demanded his attention. Yet, he knew that he needed to find a space, a sanctuary where he could disconnect from the world and connect with God. John found himself struggling initially. Time seemed to be an elusive commodity, slipping away before he could grasp it. His mornings were filled with the rush of preparing for work, and his evenings were consumed by the demands of his family. He doubted whether he could ever carve out a moment just for himself and God. But John was determined. He knew that this journey was not just about finding time, it was about making time. He realized that the distractions of the world would always be there, but it was up to him to prioritize his spiritual journey. He set his alarm an hour earlier, rising before the sun to find his solitude. In the quiet of the early morning, when the rest of the world was still asleep, John found his sanctuary. He found that this was the time when he could truly be alone with God. He discovered the beauty of silence, the peace of solitude, and the profound connection he felt with God during these moments. John's journey wasn't without its challenges. There were days when he questioned his decision, days when he felt too tired, too overwhelmed to wake up early, but he persevered. He knew that this journey was not just about him, it was about his relationship with God. Despite the struggles, John found success in his journey. He found a regular time for solitude, a time that was sacred, untouchable, dedicated solely to God. This became a cornerstone of his daily routine, a moment of peace amidst the chaos of life. Through this journey, John discovered more about himself than he ever thought possible. He learned about his strengths, his weaknesses, his hopes, and his fears. More importantly, he discovered more about God. He discovered the peace that comes from solitude, the clarity that comes from silence, and the love that comes from a deep and personal relationship with God. John discovered more about himself and God during his time in solitude. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, John found his relationship with God deepening. It was an evolution, a spiritual metamorphosis that he had embarked upon, a journey that took him deeper into the heart of God than he had ever dared to travel. He began to see the world in a different light, not through the lens of his own understanding, but through the divine perspective God offered. It was as if he was seeing everything for the first time. The mundane suddenly seemed miraculous, and the ordinary extraordinary. This was not a superficial change, but a profound transformation that started from within. With each passing day, John noticed a serenity enveloping him. There was a calmness, a tranquility that he had never experienced before. The storms of life no longer seemed daunting, the trials and tribulations less intimidating. He found himself at peace, even in the midst of chaos. It was as if he was in the eye of the storm, where everything was calm and tranquil. John discovered a clearer sense of purpose, a renewed vision for his life. He felt a divine calling, a celestial blueprint etched on his soul. The fog of confusion lifted, replaced by the clarity of divine revelation. His life was no longer a series of random events, but a purposeful journey guided by the hand of God. The transformation was not just spiritual, but it affected every aspect of his life. His relationships improved, his career took a positive turn, and he found a sense of fulfillment that had been missing for so long. His life was no longer a quest for happiness, but a journey of purpose, a pilgrimage towards a deeper relationship with God. John's journey to solitude with God transformed his life in ways he never imagined. It was a transformation that started on the inside and reflected on the outside. It wasn't just about being alone with God, but about being transformed by Him. It was about becoming a vessel of His love, His peace, and His purpose. And in the process, John discovered a joy of fulfillment that surpassed all understanding. John's story is a testament to the power of solitude with God. Here we see a man who, amidst the whirlwinds of life, sought refuge in the arms of solitude. Not just any solitude, but solitude with God. And the transformation we witness in John's life is nothing short of remarkable. Just like the silence before a beautiful symphony, solitude provided John with a blank canvas, a space uncluttered by the noise and distractions of the world. It was in this space that he could truly hear God's whisper, a whisper that brought him peace amidst chaos, clarity amidst confusion. Imagine a diamond encased in stone. Unseen and unappreciated, its true value remains concealed. But with the right pressure and time, the stone chips away, revealing the diamond's true brilliance. This is the transformative power of solitude with God. It chips away at our outer layers, revealing our true selves, our true worth in the eyes of God. John's solitude wasn't about isolation. It wasn't about running away from the world. Rather, it was about running towards God, towards a deeper spiritual connection. And in the quiet recesses of solitude, John found God waiting. He found a love so profound, a peace so deep, it transcended all understanding. John's story is not unique. Many of us are like diamonds encased in stone, waiting to reveal our true brilliance. We too can experience the transformative power of solitude with God. All it takes is a moment of stillness, a moment to step away from the noise, the distractions, the chaos, and into the arms of solitude. Spending time alone with God is not a retreat from the world, but a return to our true selves. It's an invitation to peace, to clarity, a deeper spiritual connection. It's an invitation to witness our own transformation, just as John did. If John could do it, so can you. Now imagine what spending time in solitude with God can do for you. Pause for a moment and picture it, just you and the divine, in a space where the noise of the world fades away and you're left with the gentle whispers of the universe. Imagine the peace that would envelop you, the tranquility that would seep into your very bones. The solitude would allow you to hear God's voice more clearly, guiding you, providing you with wisdom and strength. Now think of the transformation that could occur. Remember John's story? The solitude he embraced led him to a life-altering journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. He found a deeper connection with God, and that connection brought about a transformation that echoed in all aspects of his life. Solitude with God isn't just about finding peace or gaining wisdom, it's about understanding your purpose in this vast, interconnected universe. It's about realizing your potential and the role you play in the grand scheme of things. So, I invite you to seek your own solitude with God. Seek it in a quiet corner of your home, in a serene garden, or in the stillness of the night. Seek it not because you're lost, but because you want to find. Take the first step today, embrace solitude, and witness the difference it makes in your life.